Abu. Welcome to my YouTube channel. We are continuing a discussion with AutoGen. Okay, so in this video we will be discussing on how can we implement the group discussion or group chat using AutoGen. Okay, and this is my third video with respect to AutoGen. So please ensure that you guys have already seen these two videos, introduction to AutoGen and AutoGen. Then the second one is the data visualization. Okay, so I have covered basic details with respect to AutoGen in these two videos. Okay. So here we have a requirement file is there AutoGen. So this is the installation that we need to do. So we have already done that in our last two videos. I have shown how can we execute the requirement file. Then we have a configuration file. So here we have three models. One is GPT 3.5 Turbo and 16K. Then other one is Turbo 1106 and one is GPT 4. Okay. So these are the three models currently available in my configuration. Now let me add a file. Okay, so here I can add a file. Can name it as chat.py. Okay. So here let me import a AutoGen. So our use case is we are trying to implement two models, two assistant agents. So one will be a writer and the other will be a editor. So writer will write some maybe articles and editor will review it, and editor will send some suggestions to the writer, then writer will correct it. Okay, so it will be like a communication between two agents. One is a writer and the another one is the editor, and these two agents are controlled by a manager class or a manager assistant. Okay, so the job of manager assistant is to control the flow between the writer and the editor. Okay, so 85% of code is same as our previous video. Okay, so maybe we can start writing the code. So first we can have a configuration list which will load it from the JSON. Here we can mention the file name OAI config list. Okay, now we can select the dictionary from here. Here I can set the model. So we will be using this particular model. Okay, so let me copy this model and paste it here. So this will be our model. Now we can create a LLM config for a writer. Here we can set the timeout as 300 seconds. Then I can set the temperature as 1. So this will be like more generic one. Then I can set the seed as 50. So this will be for the caching. Then we can mention the LLM config list. So our config list will be config list. So this is for the writer. So once the configuration is ready, we can specify the agent. So here I will mention writer agent, which will be assistant. As I mentioned, it will have a name. I can mention the name as a writer. Then we can mention the configuration. Here the configuration will be LLM config writer. Okay. Now we can specify a system message. Okay. The system message will be, you can specify that, okay, your task is to write an article about a given subject and to rewrite it based on the feedback from the editor. reply with terminate after you create a corrected version. Okay, so we have given the exact message here. So the message says the task is to write an article about a subject and rewrite it based on the feedback from the editor. Reply terminate after you create a corrected version. Okay, so agent part is done. Now we can look into the editor. So editor configuration, this will be the same as that of writer, so I can copy and paste here. Okay, so only thing is that I can make it as a temperature as 0, so this will be very specific. Now I can mention a editor agent. Editor agent is also a assistant agent. Here I can mention editor. Maybe I can keep the same syntax here, writer and the editor. Then here we can mention the config as a editor config. Then we can mention the message. Okay, so the message will be, you can say that your task is to correct the article submitted by the writer. Check if informations are accurate and do not rewrite the article. Instead create a list of adjustment to be made. Okay, so this is the message. So as earlier, we can create a user proxy. Okay, which is also, let me correct it, AutoGen dot user proxy. So we'll have a name, you can mention it as user proxy. Then the system message will be a human admin. Then human input mode we can set as terminate. So we have discussed all those things in our previous lecture. So here we can mention is terminate message. You can mention the lambda, the code is same. Okay, you can mention the content. Dot get content dot r strip dot ends with terminate. Okay, so the user proxy is done. Now we need to create a chat manager. So chat manager will be handling the chat between the editor, between the writer and the editor. Okay, so for that first we need to create a group chat. Okay, so in the group chat we need to specify which all are the agents that is participating in the chat. I can mention the writer agent and the editor agent. Okay, here I can declare a messages to stir the communication messages between the writer and the agent. Here I can set the maximum round. Okay, let me set it as maybe 3. So this will help us to, this will help us to block like unwanted round trip between the editor and the writer. Okay, otherwise it may go infinite number of times. Okay, Now here let me select the speaker selection mode as auto. So that means which agent has to be selected first. Okay, so that is selected as a auto, which means the LLM will decide based on this system message. This system message LLM will decide which agent has to be executed first. Okay, there are few other available options are there. One is manual and one is random, and there is a round robin also available. Okay, so we will be going with the auto. So this will be the our last AutoGen model, which is group chat manager. Okay, group chat manager. Here we can mention the group chat, and here we can mention the LLM config. So this will be, we can select the editor config. So we have created all necessary models, necessary agents. Now we can do the user proxy dot initiate chat. Here this time we will be selecting the manager as an input. Okay. Now I can set a message. I can say that write an article about large language models. Okay, so this is my message. Now let me execute this python.chat.py. Okay, so let me execute. So here user proxy to chat, write a article about large language models. So here we can see that writer is writing this to chat manager. Large language models, also known as LLM, are the type of artificial AI. So this is describe about the details. Okay, now now the editor is verifying this. Okay, so we can see that a couple of okay. So here this is the writer. Writer is writing to editor. Okay, so editor is actually making some adjustment. Okay, so these are the adjustment that is mentioned by the editor. Okay, now it is stopped. Okay, so maybe I need to make it more round robin, maybe 310, and I will try it again. Okay, I'm not sure my key, the free token, is expired or not, so let me execute it again. Okay, so this is writing. Here we can see that write a thing, so this is also in progress. Okay, okay, now we can see one cycle. Okay, so here I have mentioned write an article about large language models. So this is the article about large language model. Then the editor is some adjustment. Editor is suggesting some adjustment. Okay, that is the term language should be corrected to language through the article. The acronym LLM should be corrected as LLMs throughout the article. Okay, so there are the few suggestions are there. It is made by the editor. Now it is going back to the writer. Okay, so in the first we can check here, writer is to chat. So this is the corrected message from the chat message. Okay, so now it is terminated. Okay, so I believe by this example everybody understood how the group chat message is working. So this is actually very simple and very easy to implement. Okay, so you guys can try it out and ensure that when you try it out, please try to use the key, please try to change the key. Okay, so I will be deleting all those keys from my OpenAI key list. Okay, so you have to create your own key before trying this out. Okay, and I will be uploading this to my GitHub. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.